Welcome to the Coffee Experts Club. If you're at all interested in anything we talk about in this episode, go ahead and check out the description down below, or if you even just want to know more about us, click on the links below. Now on to the episode. Hey!
What up, man? Good afternoon.
Good day. Good afternoon to you as well, sir. Good afternoon to everybody joining us on this fine Coffee Experts Club podcast. Aaron is on his way down to you right now, isn't he, Drew?
Yeah, he's mid-flight, probably somewhere over the ocean as we speak.
That's great. So, fortunately, Aaron won't be joining us today because he can't really from an airplane. It'll be cool when that gets to be a possibility, though. So you guys get me and Drew again. We're kind of doing a part two, Mr. Drew, of last week's or last episode's. Essentially, how do you keep your managers accountable? And why is it important to keep them accountable? And we went through all of the ins and outs of the reason why it's important. Major one, you don't want your shop looking like crap.
Yep. Customer experience. And we could do a long series on manager accountability, but we'll just roll it up into a couple of episodes.
Yep. And so we wanted to kind of give you guys a part two, just in the practicality of what does it look like. We gave you guys some ideas. What are your checklists? What are your black and white rules and regs? But in part two, we wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what does that look like then for your managers. If you're creating checklists, if you're creating report cards, if you have teams auditing your shops, what does that mean if your manager passes or doesn't pass those things? Or what is a pass or fail? Or just want to give you guys some practicalities that can help you can take straight away and help keep your managers accountable, especially when you have those 4, 5, 6 locations. You realize it's starting to get out of your control and that you just can't be at all the shops all the time. So it's good to have, as much as we talk about it all the time, these systems in place so that you can at least be somewhat confident that if, a customer comes through one of your random locations at 8:00 at night, they're not getting horrible service, or the store doesn't look like it's been, blown to bits by messes everywhere.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to be proactive about the systems and the structure, especially when it comes to your leaders, because any leader that's worth anything is going to want to be told what to do, how to do it, and that they did a good job. And having a really metric-based system provides confidence, from their perspective that the business is going somewhere and it knows what it's doing. Which is, of course, important to high-performance leaders, which we love to attract and maintain.
No, yeah, that is a great point. I think one we don't emphasize enough. We lost. I mean, I can name a few managers off the top of my head that we lost because we hadn't gotten to that point yet where it was black and white. Like, this is how you know you're doing a good job. This is how you know you're underperforming. And it was very much like, I just don't think you're doing a good job. And they're like, okay, but how or but why? And it's like, well, now I got to try and remember like the things that kind of stuck out to me. Like, if you don't have that, you're gonna lose people just because of an uncertainty. Nobody likes going to work and being like, I don't know. Hopefully, they're not pissed at me for something. So it's such a great point to have those in place, and then to actually lead by those black and white metrics, because there's also nothing worse than saying, here's how I'm going to grade or judge your performance, and then throw a curveball of, oh yeah, okay, you might have done good here, but like, your groundskeeping looks horrible every other Saturday, and your man, wait, I didn't even know this was important.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, expectations are healthy for any organization.
Yep. So what we wanted to do is kind of give you guys a rundown of a tool that we used as we grew. And pretty much all the way up towards the end before Roasters was acquired. It was a tool that our regional managers, a tool that Drew used, that I used to essentially grade the managers of each location. And we called it their quarterly report card. Kind of a little bit of what we talked about last week. We're having checklists, and the regional managers in a separate team that we had that would audit the location's cleanliness and just overall aesthetic. They would go in, and Drew would go in. They would check off to see how the managers were finishing all of these. I think it was like 40 items on their checklist, basic stuff. Is the floor clean? If there's any decorations up in the shop, are the decorations broken or not? Is the parking lot clean? Is their schedule out on time? That's just sort of basic stuff that you would think, okay, how could anybody ever forget that? It's pretty easy to forget.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of those checklists that would then roll up into a what we called quarterly report card. So I just want to give everybody a sneak peek. And if you're just listening to the podcast, sorry, check us out on YouTube or on our socials. You can actually see the video here. It looked a little something like this. So this is and like I said, we would run this quarterly report card, and on this report card, we would have sections. Our operations or myself would have a section that I would grade each of the location managers on. Aesthetics, that was our auditing team that would go in and audit, the shop's cleanliness aesthetically. Our regional managers would have a section of their own that would grade, their checklist points from there. And then we had another manager who worked solely for facilities and overall culture of the company. And each quarter we would grade these. So for my example, tip records are maintained and kept up to date accurately and weekly. It had a lot to do with operations and finance. It was very important for, pay periods to make sure that baristas and managers were getting tipped out correctly. Stock levels of inventory, not over or under, independent, not taken from the stores, very operational things. I would go through and, grade the managers on this. Employees are clocking in and out on time, not having to fix their time cards so much. And that would roll down into a score. Aesthetics, is the drive-through clean? Is the patio walkways, windows clean? Is the back room orderly and stocked well? Our barista's appearance up to standards? Our people, we got to a point where it's like you can only, the uniform is wear a company shirt, t-shirt. Well, are they showing up like that? The regionals, how are the car timers? One of our main three pillars at the company was speed, service, and strength. So speed means how fast are those cars, going through the drive-through? Are there long waits? Are they doing well? Drinks being made behind the bar. Are they correct? How well and how often is the team communicating with each other? This was one of my favorite ones. Store maintains a drama-free zone.
Yes. Very important.
Yep. And then you have schedules being made 2 weeks in advance. Is manager following 48-hour write-up system? So all of the things that we essentially distilled down to, okay, and honestly, you could probably speak to this even more, Drew. A lot of this was just like every time something come up and we're like, God, this is a headache. I feel like we're just going over this over and over and over again. We're like, you know what? That's going on the report card. I'm tired of having to, make sure that our managers are actually writing up people if they're not following the employee handbook. Ultimately, the whole goal of this was this was a direct part of their quarterly reviews with us. So we would sit down and we would say, here's your quarterly report card and all aspects of managing your shop. And then based on the score, it was that was directly tied to their potential raises and their potential bonuses, which was so nice because it took it out of the like, I think you should get a raise. I'm pretty sure you did good last quarter or the last 6 months. It was so easy. It was like, looks like you got 49 out of 50. Nice, bro. Bonus is going to look good. Raise is going to look good. Or you got 10 out of 50. Sorry, you got another quarter to get stuff back on track. And again, it just made it so metric.
Yeah, it was, it looks like a lot when we pull up that report card. And it was a simple, metric based, concerted effort between many departments, as you said, there's the four departments, but there's a lot of people working in those departments. So it was, how do we track accurately, realistically and fairly between, 10 stores, all of these things. And really we had speed, service, strength as our core values, but something else that we kind of built our company around and have continued to do so was development, healthy development. And in order to develop, young leaders or to develop a store, to develop your business, your customer base, it's a constant thing. So we made points to take account of these things weekly. It was a weekly thing. We would check in. The regionals would check in with every store multiple times a week. The aesthetics department would have their rounds. If it was once or twice a week, they'd go check in. And each of these things would break down into, we had our sheets that we'd fill out. We had reports that we would write. We had updates that we would write. And it was really par for the course to have nothing going on. And that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You want your update to be bland as all hell, and boring, because things are working smoothly. And so really what it was it's not every minute detail that we have to track constantly. It's what stands out because we know the standard.
Yep.
We know what to expect. When does it fall short, or are they excelling? Sometimes they get bonus points if they did a really good job. And so when we did roll it up into this, I mean, that was what 10 years of accumulated effort went into that eventual system that we had. It
And
was what was broken along the way, and how did we address it? And really, that's what it came to was weekly check-ins, metric-based performance, and what matters to us. Like you said, car times mattered to us, aesthetics mattered to us, um, the interactions between the team mattered to us. So then we kind of worked
hmm
backwards from there. How do we track these things? And how do we make sure it's fair? Because there's favoritism. There's always favoritism in any organization with 150 people. You have your people who are treated with a lighter hand, and people who are treated with a heavier hand. And hopefully that can be metric based too, because of course you want to have
hmm
your hand with the people who get 10 out of 50, and you do with the people who get 50 out of 50.
Yeah.
And so we would say that we would take the time every quarter to say, hey, please take these very seriously, managers, because this takes hours and hours and hours of time from your admin people, because it's an accumulation of multiple hours per week, 4 weeks a month for a whole quarter, to collaborate and make sure that everything went smoothly. And so I break it all down like that to say that it was a big system, but it started really small. And I think that we should start small, because then you know exactly
hmm
which direction to grow and where to put your efforts towards. We just based it off of our core values and our mission statement.
Yep. Yep. And the beautiful thing was it too is it eliminated the if we had some big shops and shops that did a lot of revenue. But so they look good on the front. On paper, they're like this shop is pumping out drinks. This is a great revenue earner. But then you look internal to the internal team, and everybody's always calling out. Shifts are always having to be
Yeah,
covered. There's always drama within the shop. The manager's always having to work overtime to essentially keep the shop staffed. And it's like this gave us a way to be like, okay, because if we had just looked at that shop, just on paper, we'd be like, awesome manager, great job, you're doing awesome, keep doing what you're doing. But if you actually take the time to break down what is important to you, you walk inside and you talk to the employees, you're like, holy crap, this thing is barely holding on by by duct tape and spit like we used to do. And so having those sections, the support of the report card said, okay, you look good financially, you look good operationally, you look good from the customer standpoint, and you look good as an internal team. But like you said, that was completely tailored around what was important to us. If you'll probably have something completely different than us. And I would just recommend at the very least, if you have more than 3 locations, to start something like this. Or even if you want to start putting down, what are these things that are important to me? What's in my mission statement? What are my core values for my company? So that when you get to that point, having to try to figure this all out, because it may seem like a lot, and you're like, gosh, your regional manager's going around completing 40-point checklists every week, and you're doing all this, every quarter. It seems like a lot. Yes, it is a lot, but that is
it
how
is.
you become a standout hometown hero. That's how you
Yep.
be that coffee shop that opens up and disappears 8 months later. Like there's a certain level that if you want to be truly extremely successful to the point where a larger company wants to buy you out, you have to have systems like this in place so that you can be confident that every single shop every single day is running exactly how you want it. And that's what a big player is going to want. Like a big company, if they want to come buy you out or purchase you, they're going to want to see a company that's running very well, that they're basically all they have to do is come in and swap out the signs and it can keep rolling without the original owners. That only happens through processes like this. And it's not like we just came up with it one day and we're like, hey, we've got a great idea that's going to make our company awesome. Like Drew, like you said, it's like over 10 years of like, gosh, I'm sick of having to deal with this. How can we fix that? I'm sick of having to deal with
Yeah.
this. How can we fix that? And
Yeah.
these report cards are basically our brains on paper over 10 years.
Well, I mean, it's nobody, I would hope, starts a business to be mediocre.
Right.
Nobody gets into business to be stressed. We get into business to do something well that we enjoy, or to be free financially, or as an investment. But even if it's to be free financially, or to do what you love, or if you want to make a good investment, it has to run well. And you as a leader can physically only do and see and hear so much.
Mhm.
The best way to make sure your company is robust and runs well is by having solid systems for manager accountability. Because even if you have 2 stores, you can't spend your whole day at both stores. That's the
Mhm.
first point of slippage. You can work 8, 10 hours a day at one store, great, it's going to be performing really well. As soon as you duplicate, you're going to have to be cut in half, which is 4 hours, 5 hours at each store. And really, I found we've talked on this podcast of pretty much every level within the business. But personally, for me, I found the most important thing that we can do is cultivate leaders. And I, like you mentioned, that we saw some great leaders leave because we didn't have clear expectations
Yep.
for what was expected of them. The expectations are as much for them as they are for you, because as you said, 8 p.m., you want baristas to be serving people well, just like at 5 a.m. You want the same experience throughout the entire day. And really providing healthy feedback in a metric based way where the managers can see how they did, see what they did wrong, see where they're excelling, and work on it themselves. Because I know a lot of leaders there, they're like, okay, well, I want to do better, but I don't know where to start. I don't know where
Yep.
I'm lacking. I don't get enough real usable feedback. I get like a thumbs up every now and then, or a pat on the back, or a good job. But like, if I want to excel, if I want to do better, if I want to do more, what are the tools that I have to really look at myself and look at the store that I run to do better? And so with these report cards, we would send them out to everybody, and then we would have them review them, and then we'd talk about them in our meetings. We'd sit down with them and we highlight things that they did well, things they could do better, and provide coaching points. And I mean, it was a really robust leadership development system there at the end. But that's why we
Mhm.
ran 15 stores. I wouldn't say like nothing, but I don't think it got harder. I think it actually got easier as time on because the systems got put in place.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and there's if for us, it was all about promotion from within and leadership within, like you said. If you want to keep growing stores, you want to not have to go hire from without. If your ethos of your company is from promotion from within, you got to have some sort of just baseline that says yes, good job, no bad job. I mean, just think like if you as an owner and operator don't have a system of how you grade your employees and how you think their performance is doing, how is a 19-year-old kid going to be able to figure out if he's doing a good job or not if you don't even have a way to tell him he's doing a good job or not? So if these kids, like if 19, 20-year-old kid, if you want them to do well, you got to give them some guardrails. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're leaving them in a guessing game, and that's like we've said, that's how you lose people, or that's how you just get poor performance. You'll probably get lucky and get some overachievers who are like, I'm just gonna burn the candle at both ends and try and make this location as great as possible. But again, nobody likes feeling burnt out and not knowing if they're doing a good job or not. Like it's not
Yep.
worth it. And that unfortunately is when you lose those really amazing people.
It's true.
So we really, really hope if you don't have a system in place, definitely put one in place. You can always reach out to us on social medias. We've got templates on all this stuff. We'll have some free tools for you guys coming down the road. We'll drop links for those. Anything that we talk about, you could probably just check the description down below. I'm sure we'll have a link for something. Drew, it has been fantastic to
Ben,
talk to you as always.
cheers, brother. It's good Coffee Experts Club. Glad I could see you. And sometimes glad Aaron's not here. Don't tell him though.
Say hi to him for me when he lands.
I will. Yeah. All right.
All righty. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.